And it's 22 below in American units out in Canada right now, and I'm not wearing anything that big and
22
heavy.
below. Dear God.
Oh yeah, and the dogs are like, "We want to go play." It's like, really?
All right, we got audio. Here we go. There's the judge.
Good afternoon. The jury has sent a note or given me notice that they have reached a verdict. Are both sides ready to receive the verdict?
State's ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Judge.
All right. Y'all did fabulous when we did the guilt-innocence verdict, okay? Same rules apply. I don't know what this verdict is. Can't have any emotions, all right? Let's bring them in.
Judge, you're welcome.
And here we go.
See people saying no cheering allowed? Yeah, no cheering is allowed. Didn't he throw somebody out for like making a face earlier?
Yeah.
This judge
Everyone may
doesn't
be
screw around.
seated. Good afternoon. Juror number one, it's my understanding the jury has reached a verdict. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is it a unanimous verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Hand it please to Deputy Nicholson. Mr. Dean. Verdict reads, we the jury, having found the defendant Aaron York Dean guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of the offense of manslaughter, assess his punishment at confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for 11 years, 10 months, 12 days. They do not assess a fine. And it is signed by the presiding juror. You may be seated. Thank you very much. Members of the jury, as we went through before, I'm going to call your juror number and ask you if this verdict is your individual verdict. Juror number one, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number three, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number four, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number six, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number nine, is this your verdict? Juror number 14, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number 15, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number 21, is this your verdict? Juror number 31, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number 32, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror number 37, is this your verdict? Juror number 38, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your verdict will be received and filed. Thank you very much. Mr. Gill, Mr. Brissett, is there any legal reason why sentence should not be pronounced?
No legal reason.
Mr. Dean, it's the jury having found you guilty of the offense of manslaughter and assessed this punishment. It's the order of the court you be remanded to the custody of the sheriff, be delivered to the director of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve your sentence as required by law. You will receive credit for all the time that you have served in custody on this case from the date of your original arrest up until today, which would be the date of sentence. You have the right to appeal the jury's decision. You do so by giving written notice of appeal to the Second Court of Appeals here in Fort Worth within 30 days. If you are indigent and cannot afford a lawyer, I would conduct an indigency hearing to determine if you are indigent. And if you are indigent, I would appoint a lawyer to represent you on appeal and provide you a record of this appeal of this trial at no cost. Mr. Gill, Mr. Brissett, if y'all will remain on his case pending his decision whether he wishes to appeal, and if you'll furnish the information for the trial court certification of appeal before you leave here today, I would appreciate it. Is there an allocution?
Yes.
You may be seated. Thank you very much.
But that's it. 11 years, 10 months, and 12 days. So I guess they had a numerologist on the jury.
Yeah, that's a weird how they got to that. I don't know.
It's and clearly, I would suggest a compromise sentence, much like there was a compromise verdict, right? It was looking at 0 probation to 20 years. They gave him just under 12.
right near the middle.
Yep. And this is a wrongful conviction on the legal merits. There's no rational way for a jury to arrive at guilt on reckless manslaughter here. A bad outcome case, so people's emotions are riled up. We know there were protests. People might be scared about violence in the streets if they don't return a guilty verdict. But there's no guilty verdict here on the legal merits. We know, for example, that he always maintained he deliberately shot her. That's not recklessness. That's an intentional shooting. We know the jury acquitted him for that intentional shooting because otherwise they would have convicted him. So, and the only basis to acquit him on the murder charge is self-defense. So because they didn't convict him of murder, we know they believed the self-defense. And if something is done in self-defense, by definition, it's reasonable. And if it's reasonable, it's not reckless. So there's simply no rational way to get here based on the facts and law in this case. And now he's going to do almost 12 years in prison. I believe Texas does about good behavior 50% of the sentence, and you're up for parole. Whether he'd qualify for parole in today's times is another question. But he could prospectively get out in about 6 years. For what? For having a bad legal defense, as far as I'm concerned. And this doesn't have to happen. There are good lawyers out there. There's law self-defense out there for this kind of case to make sure your lawyers aren't doing this, or at least if they're doing it, someone's making you aware that this is not the direction to go in, so you can make an informed decision about your legal counsel. And keep in mind, if you're a Law Self-Defense Platinum member, you get my legal consultation on your case for nothing. Nothing. That's what the membership gets you. And you don't have to be at risk of this. But I have to say, you have to be a member at the time of your use of force event. You can't do this retroactively. That's not how it works. So something to think about. You can learn more about our Law Self-Defense Platinum membership, everything it gets you, at lawselfdefense.com/platinum. Jamie in the super chat, $5, says, Aaron Dean didn't know Atatiana Jefferson. He didn't set out to murder her. So this is BS. The whole trial was BS. All BS, race, and politics. Good luck to our police. Good luck to the people in Fort Worth getting a burglary call answered. You think a cop is going to risk a 12-year sentence to investigate the burglary at your home? Or you think he might wait an hour or two until he can be fairly sure that it's not going to be a burglary in progress call?
Yeah. Oh, we'll just wait until they're gone. Best of luck.
That's the rational response. So to those of you on the Law Self-Defense member dashboard, thank you for spending all this time with me. For those of you who are not just members, but platinum members, just know you have me in your corner should the worst happen. You don't have to be subject to this kind of prosecution and this kind of verdict and this kind of sentence, because I will fight for you. This doesn't have to happen. It really, I swear, this is the kind of thing I lose sleep over.
Yeah.
If the process is followed, good due process of law, and we end up with a guilty verdict, whoever the defendant is, I don't lose any sleep over that. But when I see the process corrupted, the law misstated to the jury, the evidence misstated to the jury, and a defense team that doesn't do their job in zealously defending their client, and then that client gets convicted, I have no confidence in that verdict and no confidence in the sentence, and it just didn't have to happen. And yes, if you're a platinum member, and heaven forbid you were to get convicted, despite my help, I continue to help you on appeal, continue to help you on retrial. That is all covered. For those of you who joined on YouTube and Rumble and Twitter, thank you so much for spending your time. Ian, thank you so much. Remind everybody where they can find you, Ian.
Runkle of the Bailey on YouTube is sort of the best place. And thank you for having me. This is kind of a fascinating and unfortunately tragic case. Tragic
all around, of course. Tragic that Atatiana Jefferson died too. That's not a good outcome. This is a bad outcome case. Nobody wished her dead. Obviously, we know this wasn't an intentional killing, even by the officer who was convicted here. It's just a tragedy all around, and just made worse by this unnecessary, unjust verdict and correspondingly unjust sentence. But that's the world we currently live in. All right, Ian, I'll say goodbye. Check out Ian, folks. He does great work. And
folks.
For everybody else, thank you for spending all this time with me. I know it's been a long road for this trial to an unfortunate outcome, but we learn lessons from it, don't we? I hope we do. And until next time, I think we'll get back to our normal schedule this week, and then after Christmas, maybe a little light schedule in terms of content delivery, but we'll get back to our normal flow of things. We'll start answering some of the Platinum member questions and so forth now that this trial is wrapped up. And so I look forward to delivering all of that to all of you. And until next time, as always, I remain Attorney Andrew Branker for Law of Self-Defense. If you carry a gun, so you're hard to kill, that's why I carry a gun, so I'm hard to kill, so my family is hard to kill. You also owe it to yourself to make sure you know the law, so you're hard to convict. All right, folks, until we meet again, probably tomorrow, I remain Attorney Andrew Branker for Law of Self-Defense. Stay safe.